The struggling Oilers were coming in, and they are brutal. I think I underestimated the right. I thought they were like 2-10 in their last whatever. I think it's worse than that. They are fucking brutal, and their record is horrendous. And they, it looked like Matthews missed 2 days of practice, false positive on a rapid test, the PR or whatever the fucking other tests are called, PCR or whatever.
PCR test, yep.
Those apparently negative. So we thought it was going to be Matthews out. And then all of a sudden, no, Matthews is okay, but McDavid's got the COVID. So
we can't see the McDavid versus Matthews.
That's right. And I'm kind of glad McDavid didn't play last night because that might have been the difference maker. It was sloppy. Edmonton, I actually didn't think Edmonton played that bad last night. But
no, they didn't.
The fucking goal. Do you want to just briefly talk about like
how goals? Bad Edmonton's goalies are?
Well, and the coach's comments and like throwing them under the bus, and then the goalie comes back with like the comments like it'd be nice if I could get a couple goals.
Yeah, he's like I don't score goals, and they've only scored 7 goals in my past 6 games.
Dave Tippett walked at first. He was like, you got to make a save, and our goaltending's not good enough. And then the next day, he like walked it back, and he was like, "Well, I was talking about the first goal. Well, that's not really what he said. He said our goaltending isn't good enough.
Yeah, because he's trying to save his job too.
Well, dude, it's fire's burning hot out there.
Yeah,
it's burning hot in Alberta, man.
They had such a hot start, Edmonton, that they're 18-14-2. But they're 2-6-2 in their last 10. They've lost 5 in a row, but their goal differential is still +2, which seems ridiculous. But they must have scored so many goals at the beginning of the year that they still have a plus in goals scored versus goals given up. Because oh my god,
yeah, that does seem kind of weird.
But at the start, remember how hot
that's
a Draisaitl McDavid were, and even Hyman. Everyone's like, "Oh my God, Hyman's tearing it up in Edmonton." But then everything kind of came back down to earth, and I still think they're a good team. But God, they have bad goaltending and kind of just bad core defense too.
I think Draisaitl was a maniac last night. He was all noticeable every fucking shift on the ice. Other than him, no, I don't like. There's not, to me, not a lot of depth there. I like Darnell Nurse.
Their depth scoring is.
Well, no, I mean, dude, like, I didn't think Hyman had a great game. I don't know. It's just, I just don't see it, man. I don't see it with Edmonton. The whole goalie thing is like, clearly it's been obvious for a long time. You can't win a Stanley Cup with those 2 fucking goalies, Mike Smith. And what's the other guy's name?
Koskinen.
Mm-hmm. Like, it's not happening. Peter Chiarelli got fired the same week that he gave Koskinen his contract. Eh? Did you know that? Like he was he gave Koskinen a contract.
I know he had the shortest sample size. He played like 20 games and had a good run, and they gave him this huge contract. Now,
Chiarelli got fired like 2 days after he gave him that contract.
You could say on the flip side that the Leafs kind of did the same thing with Jack Campbell. He didn't have a huge, they let Freddie Anderson walk and made Jack Campbell the number one.
They haven't given him a contract.
Exactly. That's the difference. The difference is he was still on backup goalie money.
Might want to get on that doobie-doo because the price tag's going up every fucking game. So
we'll see. But anyway, we can talk about the game. It was what it was. Like you say, it was sloppy. Draisaitl looked awesome. The Leafs pulled out a win.
Yeah, man. So look, these goals, like fucking Dave Tippett must have just been losing it when that first goal went in. Like 5 minutes into the game, I don't even know who shot it. I think it was, the assists they credited it to Nylander originally, and then they ended up giving it to Tavares later in the game. So
they gave it to Tavares, then they gave it to Nylander, then they gave it back to Tavares.
Right. So Kerfoot and Nylander ended up getting the assist. So it was just a weird shot. Oh yeah, Nylander shot it. It kind of hit it hit a couple people. I think it hit the end boards, came back, hit the goalie and went in. Just every goal was brutal.
I know. And the second goal, off the defenseman's leg, off Marner's knee, off Marner's skate, off the defenseman's skate.
Yeah, it was crazy, man. So anyway,
it was one of those that when Edmonton's in that kind of funk right now, man.
Yeah,
nothing's going their way.
No, for sure. So here's the best part about this game. So Edmonton went up 2-1 after that weird first Toronto goal, and then last minute of the first period, fucking Brody again. He just shoots it on net. He wasn't even trying to score. He just kind of fucking lobbed it through there and it finds a way through. Another brutal fucking goal. And like TJ Brody, 3-game fucking goal streak. What is going on?
Yeah, he's playing great right now. Maybe he just needed a little break, little mid-season, vacay, get the body feeling good.
He looks great, man. So it was 2-2 for the longest time. No scoring in the second. So go to the third and they get a power play. And the first unit, again, not getting it done. And here's let me just throw this little bit in here. When Mitch was out, you realize the power play was just cooking, eh? Like that when they had Cache replacing Mitch on that top unit, I think they scored like 7 straight times on the power play when Mitch wasn't there. Mitch comes back. Okay, mind you, the code would break, whatever. Mitch comes back and it's just like, no, they can't buy one. But for the second straight game, the second power play unit gets out there. And who do we have? Again, 2-game fucking goal streak. Ilya Mikheyev.
Did you hear what they're calling him now?
Hang on.
Because Jack Campbell's Soup. So he was Soup, but now Jack Campbell.
What's my hand look like right now?
Looks like a snake.
He's a cobra. A cobra.
Cobra, yeah.
I love that. Now that's got to be code for what's cobra. Like that's got to be code.
Well, apparently it's because when he had his wrist surgery, his arm was in a cast and his fingers were touching each other like a cobra. Yeah, and he couldn't open them, so they just kept calling him Cobra.
I don't think so. I don't buy that for a second.
The other rumor is that one day Eddie Belfour was around and he came out of the shower and leather jacket in his hand, and he just said, "Boys, take my word for it. Call this guy Cobra. Just take my word for it."
See,
and then he left. Then he just walked out.
That sounds a little more the direction I thought.
So I don't know why he would say that, but
yeah, between the legs for Mikheyev, he's got the Cobra, and I love it. And dude, so he pops it unassisted on the power
rattlesnake.
3 goals in 2 games for Ilya Mikheyev, and again, he was flying out there. We should say
he's tripled Nick Ritchie.
Oh fuck, Cache missed the game, so the lines were kind of whatever. Ritchie drawed back in. We'll get to Nick in a second. Actually, fuck, let's just go here right now. On the first fucking Edmonton goal. Oh. Okay, they kind of
as soon as this happened, all I could picture was you screaming at your TV.
Look, I wasn't surprised. They got caught out of position, but then I think Brody was the only. I don't know who the defenseman was that was back, and maybe it was Sandy, and I'm not 100% sure. Anyway, it kind of was shaping up to like a 2-on-1, and like you could clearly see like it was Richie's guy, Perlini or whatever, and like Richie kind of just like he didn't even really attempt to like catch up with them. He just kind of like
he floated.
You could see the play taking shape. You knew it was going to be a 2-on-1. Perlini was driving to the net. Like you could see that Richie like had at the last second, it looked like he kind of made an attempt to get him, but I don't know. He dogged it on that play, Richie, man. I thought it was terrible. Like honestly,
he did dog it on that play. He did. If you were on Twitter at that time, like everyone's just like, what the hell? What is up with this guy?
He draws back in, like he's on the verge of not even being on the team anymore. And he's doing like, this is the effort. Come on, man. Maybe no surprise that he's fucking on waivers the next afternoon, like less than 24 hours later. We'll get to that in a second. But anyway, Mikheyev scores. Kerfoot gets an empty netter. The Leafs beat the Edmonton Oilers, the struggling Edmonton Oilers 4-2 to improve to 22-8-2.
Nice.
And they're just fucking killing it, man.
Hey everyone, Dale here. Thank you very much for watching the video. Please like, comment, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. While you're here, why don't you take a look around at some of our other videos? And if you want to listen to the audio version of our podcast, we are available on all podcast platforms. You can check in the description below. And if you want to support the podcast, you can do so by going to our Patreon page, and you can find a link to that as well. The Tip In Maple Leafs Podcast.